this is 7 of sketching and painting Francis for Cardine. Oh my gosh, you guys. You may notice I'm starting a little bit later today. I've had one of those mornings, where nothing goes quite right. It started off okay. I got up, I went and did my jog, came back, had some coffee for once, thought, yay, I'm going to be set today to record. And then everything went wrong. I decided to check my email, which means I got a new book from an author. Gosh, what was it? It is Trail of Bones by Chris Salisbury. I don't even know if it's out yet. I believe this is an ARC. I don't think it's out yet, but it will be. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to read it. I'm going to review it because that's what I do when I'm not here. And I decided, okay, I'm going to try and put this on my Kindle. Why did they make this so difficult? So I struggled with it for like forever. I finally got it transferred to my Kindle in the most roundabout way possible so that it would actually work and open. And then all of a sudden, I hear this familiar sound. What is that sound, I wonder? Oh, wait. That's the garbage truck. Today's garbage day. Wait, did I put out garbage last night? The answer is no, I did not. So I had to run to the back of my house. This was like not but like 2 minutes ago. Ran to the back of my house, got my trash can out of my backyard because that's where I put it by my back door, and had to like run it out to the street before the garbage man got there. It's just, I don't know. I'm not with it today. Um, so let's see. What was I doing? Oh, I have layers that I don't think have anything on them. Oh, I don't think so. So, yesterday we were working on this, and we went ahead and we did this. We did our lighting setup. I messed with it a little bit more yesterday, just a tad, to sort of up the contrast in the center of this picture without lightening too much of the rest. Whatever. Today we are going to do flats, and I'm going to show you how I sort of do color palettes, maybe? I have sometimes this very set way of doing my color palettes. You'll see my color palettes over here, where I'm like, okay, I need this green, I need this blue, I need skin tone, and I go and I set out my whole palette. Sometimes, not always. But what usually happens is I ignore it completely. Most of these have been over here, um, forever, but I don't actually use them, except maybe I'll pick like a skin tone, but then I'll just go make a new palette. I don't reuse anything. The only ones I keep are these ones way up in the corner, and I'll explain those later. Um, what am I gonna do? Colors are so difficult. Um, Sometimes, and that's probably what I'll do today, is I just wing it. I'll be like, nah, okay, it's red. Here's a red. Whatever. Or I don't know what color this is gonna be, so we're just gonna make it up. And yeah, we're gonna do a lot of that today. Oh gosh, where to even start? This is gonna be really, really hard. Okay, I have to think. What is my background color gonna be? Because this makes a huge difference. You'd think, why? That doesn't make any sense. Shouldn't you start with the colors that you know from your reference that you know? No. And here's the reason why. It's okay to have reference colors. These are my reference colors, mostly red. They're not real specific, just red and black and silver, I guess. Um, Even if someone has set colors for reference, it doesn't do a lot of good. Like, let's say, for instance, where's my brush? Somebody used this specific color on their character sheet that they give you for reference. I'm not ever going to use that color. I don't care that it's on the reference sheet. And here's the reason why. Depending on your picture, The atmosphere, how light or dark you want to make it, the lighting, that color is not going to end up that color. I don't care. Unless this is like anime and we're doing some kind of cell shading that's very specific, this is always going to change. Um, if I did this picture at like a day scene, that color would be a lot brighter, probably a lot more yellow than if I did this in an underground nighttime scene where it would be a lot darker, probably a little less saturated. Yeah, it's a good starting point, but setting a specific palette for a picture is just, it's useless. Because you're going to change it. The only thing that's important is that I get the representation of this color correct. Because like if I did this at nighttime, I would probably pick a color closer to that to use. They're similar, but side by side they look completely different. But in a nighttime scene, people would see this and think that. And, you know, in a daytime scene, I would probably use this, or I would yellow it up a little bit. For our purposes, this would be the same color, but it's not the same color. Yeah, that makes no sense. Whatever. We're gonna start coloring. But to tie all this in, my background color, the color I use for the back portion of this image, is going to greatly change the colors that I use on the figure. Because you don't want them to clash too much. You want them to sort of complement each other. And this is how I usually pick it. The main color of her entire personality here is red. I mean, if you look at my reference, everything she wears is red or black or silver, but mostly red. Red is a big theme. So my background needs to not be red, because otherwise this picture would be ridiculously too red. It's better to pick a color that somewhat contrasts with it or is a complementary to it. Now the contrasting color to red is, depending who you ask, it depends. There's reasons for this, but let's see. I believe it's green, actually. Let me think. Blue is orange. Yeah, I think it's green. It's green blue, sort of, in that range. It changes because there's different ways of doing color. There's additive and subtractive color, which is why in real life with traditional mediums, cyan is not a color on your color wheel. It's not used as a contrast to anything because of the way color works in traditional means is very different from how your computer uses color. So yeah, it's like all messed up. This is getting way too complicated for this early in the morning. Okay, so I'm not quite sure how I want to do this. We're gonna do this like the easy way. I'm gonna do this. This is like cheating. Probably should use a pen for this. I don't want my red quite that orange. I want like red. Okay. And this is what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna pick this random color. It's teal, whatever. If we use this red on the majority of the picture, then this is how I'm going to figure out my background. Move it around, see what works. Yeah, this would be a heavy contrast. It looks better in the teal range. Blue again is kind of contrasty. So I'm probably gonna go, well, with something around that range. And I want it dark. How saturated? I don't want this too saturated. I want most of the saturation to be in her, not in the background. Darken this up. So we go from something like that to that. Let's see. I want... And this is just sort of, you know, figuring out how I want this to work. Let's see. We're going to sort of mimic what we did yesterday with our black and whites. Only this time we're going to use color and make her a background. Let's see, where is my blendy brush? And this way, when I get to actually doing the colors on her, I'll have a little bit better idea of the color palette I'm going to need because I'll be able to see how the colors clash and work together and whatnot. If I left this white while I was working, the color palette would have a completely different outcome because your eye wants to compensate. If I did this on a completely white background, the colors would end up actually a lot lighter, just naturally. And let's see, I want a little bit... I don't know how this is going to work. We're gonna try this though. Actually, I don't know that I wanted that orange. That's a little better. I'm probably going to erase this, but I just want to see what that does to my colors. Nah. I'll stay with my blues for now. Okay, I'm going to do this on separate layers because a lot of adjustments are going to be made. That's the great thing about this is I can say, okay, this is my red, whatever. And then go back and change it and say, no, I need to tint it a little bit more this way so it looks a little bit better. I want my paintbrush. I don't want my pen because I want it to sort of pick up the background colors. Okay, this is going to be a little bit troublesome. I'm not sure what skin tone I want to use. I probably don't want something that yellow. Okay, let's just... we're gonna work on this. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do pen. Why is this pen smooth? Why is my pen density down? That's really weird. Okay. Ah, I'm not doing anything really specific here. Most of this is going to be edited out anyway. My main goal is just to make sure I cover all the bits that are going to be skin at some point. Let's see, skin. Tail. This will probably be edited eventually, but a little bit of tail. The fingers on the wings. Because this is on a separate layer, I don't have to worry about going over the lines and whatnot. Okay, now time to adjust this. I want less saturation. And I want it brighter. And I definitely want to change the hue. See, I naturally want to go towards the yellows because the background is green, but her outfit is going to be red. That's not a bad medium color. Let's up the saturation just a little bit. I don't want to go too saturated because skin looks really weird when it gets a little bit too saturated. There's things you can do to adjust the saturation if you start out too dull, but yeah, I don't want it to be crazy. That works for now. We will make tons of edits to this. Let's see, new color. I gotta figure out her outfit. Now, my reference, this is the only color reference I have, literally. Um, my reference has a lot of red on it. A lot of red. But I don't know how I feel about using that much red because it is a lot of red. I kind of want to break it up with some black and of course the silver or whatever color I end up using because I change my mind a lot. um, Black is so hard to use though. We might have to experiment quite a bit. I just, for some reason, I'm set. I really want black in this, but it's very hard to shade black correctly. So let's see, red, 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 red. Her top is red. I can already tell you I'm gonna have to change this color. It's, I don't want to say orangey, but it's not quite the color of red I want. Oh, I hear the trash man. He came back. I feel better. I may do that. I don't want to make her sleeves red too. I mean, I could, but I really don't want to. I want some variation in her colors. I'm making all of her gems red. I'm not sure. We're gonna figure this out. I'm just not sure yet. New layer just in case. We're gonna do... Okay. I happen to know, as much as this is gonna grieve me, her hair is black. I'm gonna shade it with gray for now. And yes, I'm going over all my other previous colors because it doesn't matter at this point. Let's see. I kind of want to do... her gloves as black. I'm just not sure how I feel about that. And then these would probably be black because it has to match. And red in the skirts. That's not so bad. Let's see, I know her eyes are going to be red. Let's see, horns, horns, horns. God, I hope you guys can't hear that trash truck. It is so loud. This is just to... Oh no, bad. Wrong layer. New layer. These are going to be changed. I can already guarantee you that. Let's see. Leather. trying to think. Use the leather on the boots. But also use the black on the boots. Think. See, I'm making a royal mess out of this, but I swear I have reasoning. Um, Black on those ribbons. Red on that one. Red on these ones that are going to be on her arm. Oh, which means that one has to be red, not black. That one can be black. um, these will be black. I'm trying to get the contrasts of the outfit in. And this is so going to be cleaned up. Don't worry about that. Red detailing. Not quite sure what I want to do with this part. I guess black detailing. I don't know. This is so difficult today. Okay. I also want to do probably red on this, leaking up into there. Um, we're gonna do the same thing up here with the fingers of the wings. They kind of look like they've been dipped in blood, but I swear this is just gonna be the skin color. There's an interesting question. The skin on the wings. I don't want to do red because it's gonna match the... Huh. Thinking. Think. What do we do? I believe in my reference picture, the skin on her wings is black. So we may just go ahead and stick with that. Okay, maybe. This might work. So now let's adjust our reds, make sure our palette is right. Ooh, a little bit pinker red is actually kind of cute. I don't want to do it too pink though. I'm not sure what I'm doing with this. Bring down the saturation. Darken things up. We're going to add lots of color in this, but I have to keep in mind that the bottom of this picture is going to be a lot darker, so I need to start with darker colors. Okay. And we will adjust this. I don't want to make this too dark because I still want to be able to see it. I'm not sure about this leather color. Let's mess with it a bit. Ooh, kind of like that tone. Let's make it darker. We're working with this. And because we darkened all those colors, we can now go back and adjust her skin tone. Bring up the saturation a little bit. I was told that she has a bit of a tan, so we'll do that. Those colors are going to work, except my background is too colorful. We'll start with that. Okay, now I can go ahead and just set up my palette. Remove. Erase some of this other crap I already had here, because I won't need it. Sorry, I'm moving things around. Okay, let's see. Here's my black. That was not my black. That was not my black either. Why is this switched? Black. Why is this? Ah, stop it. Why is this not? My computer hates me. Why? Oh, this should just pick it up. Okay. My skin tone. Let's see. There's my darker red color. Just to make sure I have it. Here's the background colors. Okay. There we go. Now we can actually start coloring and stuff. Whatever. Yeah. My brain is fried today. Okay, I am going to... Thinking. I think I'm gonna go clean this up off camera because it's gonna take me a long time. I need to go through all of this and go erase, erase, follow the lines, so on and so forth. And it's gonna take me a long time. And I have to be really careful with it because eventually what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove these lines. And I'm gonna have to paint this as it is. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna cut off this video here. You guys will probably see this as one continuous effort. But I am going to go, I'm going to clean this up, make sure I have my colors on my separate layers, and then I will come back once it's flatted. And we will get to painting. Yay! Painting! I'm so happy. And we will get more into colors, like how do I pick the shadows on my skin, and so on and so forth. I promise we're going to get to that. But I sort of do it on the fly, so we're going to get to that when I'm actually painting. For now, you've seen how I pick my general color scheme, how this is going to work, and yeah, we will be back in a very short moment once all of this is flatted. Stay tuned. And we're back 2 days later. Okay, so you guys noticed I finished plotting. My colors have obviously changed quite a bit. And that's just something that happens a lot when I color. I'll start off with one idea, and as I work, I'm like, no, wait a second, let me change this. And I'll change the color of something, and then a few minutes later, I'll be like, no, wait, I like it more like this. And by the end, it's similar, but it's very different. That doesn't even make sense. Whatever. It's early. Um, so I changed all the colors. I think I got it where I want it right now. You'll notice it's a little dark, but I swear that's with good reason. Um, I've learned that I have to be very careful with the way I color specifically. Um, I have a tendency to overlighten things. So if I start with a lighter image, by the time I'm done, it's ridiculously light. And my contrast gets all screwed up, and I just have a really, really hard time with it. So I've learned over the years to work in the very medium tones or the darker medium tones, because adding more light is something I can do, but trying to get rid of it once I have it is very hard. um, okay, so we have a ton of layers. A ton of layers. I have them all separated for the different colors and then some. Like, really. Oh, I might need to clean this up a little bit. Hold on. I don't want to. Should we flatten this? I don't want to flatten this. Crap, that means I gotta actually clean this up. Okay, so, uh, you guys saw the mess, like, a couple seconds ago. For me, this has been 2 days. Um, oh, what layer am I on this one? No, 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 no. Take off the preserve opacity. Okay, so yeah, it was a mess what we did before. The the blurb of coloring I did. Just trying to figure out. Oh, I need to fix this. I'll fix that in a second. Um, yeah, I was like super messy. You guys will probably look at that video and go, ew, what is she doing? It was really bad. But the point of that was not to make it look nice. It was to make sure that I had the right balance of color in the design and to make sure I picked the appropriate colors. Oh. Oh, that was smart of me. Oh, no, it wasn't. What am I doing? Gosh. No, wait, is it? You guys, it's one of those days. I am not awake yet. I'm having severe issues. Okay, they should be dark. Where's this is my dark layer, right? Right. I don't need to be careful. Okay, that makes more sense. Sorry, my brain is in like a million different places today. No, no, that's not what I want to do. Where's my red layer? No, that's not what I want to do either. Like I said, today my brain is on vacation. This isn't perfect, but who cares? It's not gonna matter. I can't even remember what I was talking about a few minutes ago. I should have had coffee. So anyway, we're flatted. I have my colors. Um, yeah, I was talking about the mess. What I had yesterday was ridiculously messy. I'm almost embarrassed to show off what that was. But it was it's to prove a point that I'm not perfect. I don't go around and just very carefully color all my stuff in. It would serve no point that early in the game. Um, my point was just to make sure I had the balance of colors right, and to make sure I had the right colors for each different part of the outfit. And there's no point in going through a whole bunch of trouble to clean it up when I'm just screwing around with it. So, yeah, it was a scribble fest. And so, immediately after I ended that video 2 days ago, God, I can't believe it's been so long, um, I started cleaning it up and doing the flatting. And then I had problems. We had a little bit of a family emergency. Bluebonnet, who some of you guys will remember from my Minecraft videos, um, she had an accident at school, and they thought she might have broken another finger. She's broken two so far in just barely over 1 year. And so everybody was freaking out. They're like, oh crap, she broke another one. And I only live a block away from her school, so I went and picked her up, and I took her to x-rays yesterday. And don't worry, she's fine. She bruised her left index finger pretty bad, and it's sprained or jammed or whatever. It's hurt, but it's not broken. She's got to wear a splint for about a week, but she's okay. So I didn't get to record that afternoon or yesterday because I was still flatting, and it took forever, and I flatted all the way until really late last night, and I finally finished it, and I posted it on DA, and I contacted Cardine to make sure she liked the colors, because if you guys remember, well, you do because it was like a couple minutes ago for you. For me, it's a long time. Um, her color reference was just so red, and so I broke it up with all the black, as you can see right now. Brain dead. Um, so I had to run it by her and make sure she was okay with the change in design because this is her baby. This is her character. And I don't want to do anything that's, well, to any of my commissioners where they're going to be like, what did you do to my character? Why couldn't you just do what I told you to do? I take liberties a lot, but I always double check and make sure they're okay before I move on. And luckily, Cardine was like, no, I really like it. The black works because she does have a lot of black in her hair, and I think it works real well. And she's still got the main parts that are important red, which is the center of her outfit is all red. You notice her neck thing is red, her top, her skirt, the jewels, her boots are almost completely red except for the metal. Her horns are red. She's got red on her wings, and there's all these little details that are red, like the ribbon on her arm and the piping and the ribbon on her sword. And then so yeah, it all ties it together. And she agreed. She thought it was okay. So I was like, yes, I don't have to change it. Because sometimes I get so invested in the changes I make, and I'm like, oh, they don't like it. Now what am I gonna do? So it worked out fine. And I'm going to quit babbling and we are going to start to paint today. Yay! Now, I am very roundabout in the way that I paint my fully painted colored pieces because you'll notice there's lines. I know a lot of artists who, when they do lineless paintworks, they just paint it. I'm not that brave. I think it's because in the past I've done so much work with line work, like real line work, and um, I'm just used to having that step in there. And for me, it's a lot easier if I keep the lines in. So what I'll do is after I've flatted the piece and I've done the shading, and this is going to look horrible because I have no shading right now, I delete my lines. And then with just my eye, I go around and I fix the details and I add the contrast that you need to make everything stand out. And pretty soon it looks like, a real picture. But for the first half of this, I'm going to work with the lines because they show me the boundaries of where things are, and they give me a better sense. And like on her face, if I delete the lines, she has no face. So I use that to remind me where the features are. And then once I think I've gotten a lot of the shading done, I'll remove the lines and work from there to fix all the details. Uh, oh, where do I want to even start? My brain's not working today. Yeah. Skin. Oh, I need to. That's right. I need to consolidate that layer. First, I need to. I just noticed I had this part needs to be cleaned up. Whatever. Okay. So we can consolidate those now. I'm trying to get all my colors on one layer. I'm gonna leave her wings on a separate layer because, oh, I need to fix that. Why is that there? This is the problem with having my colors on similar layers. Okay, I'm leaving her wings on a separate layer because it is behind so many other things here with her hair and her sword and her arm, and I just, it would be such a pain to work around that while I'm painting her wings. So I'm going to leave those on a separate layer. Wait, I think I have 2 red layers, and I want to make sure of this. Yes, I do have 2 red layers. Where's my other one? There's my other one. Okay, I gotta clean that up a little bit. So yeah, I was working with that really messy. Oh no, no, no. I keep forgetting I have all these layers masked off. Um, I was working with that really messy version to do my flats. And so here and there I had some gaps and I got lazy and I was like, oh, it's just going to be easier if I do this on another layer. I'm making sure I don't leave any parts of this. Oh, crap, I gotta fix that. I don't wanna. Fine. I gotta fix this. You know, it just may be easier to leave this off and paint it later. Oh, I'd be so lazy of me, though. Okay, let's clean this up. So, what was I saying? I don't remember. Um, yeah, I was working with the really messy version, and I was like, okay, fine, I'm just gonna create a layer within a layer here and do that because I'm lazy. But I can't leave it that way. Oh no, bad. Um, God, my sketch is so messy right here that it's sort of difficult. A little bit green's not gonna matter. Um, yeah, I can't leave it on separate layers because then when I color it, it's more difficult. It's not cooperating. This is so gonna be cleaned up later. Seriously. I honestly don't know why I'm doing this. Um, this is not worth it. Just erase. Erase. Okay. Are we happy now? We're happy now. That was stupid. Um, let's combine them. Where's my pen? This sucks. My lines are so messy here. It's hard to see where all of this shading goes. The idea is that there's a red outline around this, but my pencils were so lazy that it's a royal mess. We'll clean it up when we paint it. I'm not even that worried about it. It's bothering me right now. Um, but what was I talking about? I'm not here today. It's just, I don't know. Whatever. Brain dead. Um, so yeah, I can't keep them on separate layers. It's just not gonna work out if I do that. Uh, let's see. I need to erase a little bit of the skin tone. It's bothering me. This should not be here. Is that good? I think we're good. Yeah, whatever. So, yeah, let's just paint. I'm tired. I'm not here. Let's see. Okay, all our dark reds are one layer and all of our silvers on one. Okay, let me name these layers. Metal. Maroon. Um, blacks. Reds. Black wings. Skin. And red tint. That is the red tint on her tail and up here in her wings. What is this layer? I don't know what this layer is. Does this layer do anything? Why do I always have extra layers? That's so weird. Okay, and I have my black and white, and I have this colored layer for a reason. I'll try to explain because it's weird. I can get rid of this layer. Um, so I was messing around yesterday, and or was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. And okay, here's our black and white layer. And so I was like, oh, I need to see how the shading is gonna work. Is this gonna be light or dark enough and whatnot? So what I did is I took this black and white version and I threw it into Photoshop and I did a gradient palette thing to it. And I ended up with this. It's pink and gray. I just wanted to check the lighting. And then what I did is I took this and I overlaid it over my colors. And I had actually made these colors like totally different. I have this really subdued palette here that I used. And it worked. And I was thinking about starting with it and then just painting from there because then I wouldn't have to redo all my shading. But I threw that out because you could do that. I mean, it's viable. But I was so lazy with my shading on the black and white version that you'll see a lot of these places where there's dark outside the lines, and it was just going to be more effort than I needed to clean it up and fix it. And so I was like, nah, whatever. I'll just flat it and paint it like I normally would. It'll have more diverse colors in it anyway. So that's where we are today. Let's see. Color, color, color. I always start with my skin, and for some reason I really don't want to do it on this one. I don't know why that is, but I hesitate to start with the skin color. Oh, in case you guys haven't noticed, I'm always showing it at this size because it shows all of the picture. And I always upload it this size because it's convenient for DeviantArt. But the real size of this picture is about this big. And we're going to be coloring it at this large size because it'll turn out nicer. And I can see all the little details. Oh man, okay. Oh, I don't even know where to start. Where's my... Okay, this is how I pick my palette. I said I was going to get into this, and I'm going to. I have this very unique way of doing it. Um, so this is my skin tone right here, up here in the corner. When I pick my shadows, I go more saturated, And in this case, probably about that much down towards the blues. I always try to make my highlights go towards the yellows, my shadows go towards the blues. If I started on this half of the wheel, it would sort of be the same. I would migrate towards the purples and up towards the yellows. Um, and of course, if I was on this side, I would probably, I don't know, it depends on the scene, but I'd probably migrate. Well, no, these are the warmers, those are the coldest. I don't know. Whatever. My brain doesn't work today. It's my catchphrase for the day. Let's get to painting. So this is my new skin color. We're gonna throw this up here, and I'm gonna need something lighter. So we'll throw that in. Where is my reds? Oh, wait, it's my lip tone color I usually use. Keep that nearby. Where's my, is that the red I want? Yeah, it's the red I want. Throw that down here. And where's my orange? There's my orange. You'll see in a second what I do with these. I'm very strange in the way I paint my skin. Um, Everybody's always like, oh, use all these colors or whatever, and I can't figure it out, so I just do my own thing. Whatever. Shadows. Okay. Have to think. Where's my black and white? It's my black and white. We're gonna start down here because it's the huge area of skin. So we've got shadow mostly towards the center of her body, the way we set up this lighting. I'm gonna keep clicking back and forth to reassure myself that I'm doing this correctly. Okay. Locked my layer so I can't go over anything else. Get my brush. She's got this shadow that's gonna come down here from her elbow. But we just want to add a... Well, actually, I want to add more than that. Where's my thingy? Yeah. This part of her body is going to be a lot darker. Because it's going to be mostly in shadow. And I don't have to be real specific with this because I'm going to screw with this so much. Like ridiculously a lot. I'm going to go ahead and add most of this in shadow because she's going to have a shadow from her belt. This is an indent in her skin, so it's going to be creased in and shadowed, and she's going to have a shadow from her skirt. So most of this is going to be shadow. Okay, now she also needs a deep shadow from her skirt here, and just because this is the inside of edge of her body, we're not going to leave a lot of light skin here. You got to remember as we're working that the light is coming from behind her, as on our little reference. She's got light spilling in around the sides of her body, but she's also got a light going down from the top. So like her elbow blocks a lot of light here on her torso. But the light starts to seep in around her legs because her knees are bent forward and they peek out a little bit from the way her body is positioned. So we're working on this. I sound like I know what I'm talking about, right? Oh my gosh. Okay. I did not want to make that so big. Okay. Very crisp shadows around the belt. And here's a tip about shadows that people forget. Um, when an object is very close to another object, the shadow that it casts is going to be very sharp. Um, for instance, notice this shadow right here is very sharp. It's coming from this cloth that's very close to her skin. Um, volume shadows, shadows from light going around an object are going to be a lot more gradual. So you'll notice the shadows on her thighs and on her stomach are a lot more gradual in the way they fade in, and this is going to be edited. This is too dark right now. But you have to kind of keep these things in mind when you're doing shadows, is the way they relate to the object that they're falling on, whatever. It's just a tip. Because otherwise they'd all be really soft or really sharp and it wouldn't look quite right. Some need to be sharp and some need to be soft. See, that's all going to be in shadow. I don't even want to mess with that yet. Okay, let's add a little bit of shadow around her stockings. This is closer than anybody wants to get to her hips right now, but this isn't going to need much shadow, just a thin, thin strip, because it's just a little bit of shadow that's peeking around the corner of the stocking. The light is coming down, so it's going to be a very tiny shadow, but I want it there because it adds a little bit of volume to her legs. Just a tad bit. Okay. The majority of her shadows there, she doesn't have much skin down here. Okay, again, sharp shadow because her thigh is very close to her tail. So it's going to be like that. But we're also going to have a little bit of a gradual shadow to show the volume. We will come back with a darker color and do a sharper shadow there. But I want this initial shadow to be a little bit soft. Because it's the volume shadowing. Okay. We're getting there. Slowly. It's going to take a long time. I'm going to be working on this up until, like, next week. Because tomorrow is Good Friday. It's a holiday here. And I'm going to have people here at my house. And then what was I saying? And then there's the weekend and I'm going to have people here because it's Easter. And then I think I'm going to have someone staying here, like relatives and crap. Monday and Tuesday. My week is getting very busy. So yeah, I'm gonna be like super busy. Let's see, where does... Okay. Trying to figure out my volume here. Yeah, I'm not gonna have a lot of opportunity to work on this early in the week or the latter half of this. I want to take that shadow out. The latter half of this week. It's just too hard to record when there's people here. Where did I put that shadow? That's right. That's right. I should have done with that with the larger brush.